Hello, 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 and our wonderful guest. We are saying hello to you today. And we are excited that you are here with us because the conversation we're having today, this fireside chat, is with my awesome friend and respected colleague, Jacquelyn Gernaey. She always says to me, Winnie, I prefer to be called Jackie, but maybe if you say it the way that I like it, you can call me Jacquelyn. I like calling her Jacquelyn. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we are doing here today. Of course, this is just a 30-minute chat on a subject that's dear to my heart as a business performance advisor. Of course, for those of you who do not know me, I am Winnie Benjamin. I'm the founder of Stewardship Masters International. We are pretty much a white labeling company where we go under a brand and help to give them the capacity that they need in order to function and operate. So, dear to my heart, obviously, if it's going to be about business performance, guess who we need to have? Talent, 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 and more talent, strategically placed in proper positions across the operation of any business, be it small or large. So Jacquelyn, being a trusted advisor in the field of HR, her company is still Seven Star HR, and I'm going to read a little bit about her because she is very interesting. Pretty much, I think we need a book to talk about her journey, which is so intriguing. But obviously, we don't have the time to do that. But I think it's only good for you to know a little bit about her. So, as I said, Jacquelyn founded Seven Star HR as the second generation of an effective hiring product line begun 10 years earlier. For the last 20 years, she has coached private business owners, logging over 10,000 coaching hours and working with them to help them achieve their business and personal goals. Her vision as CEO of Seven Star HR was to offer solutions to one of the toughest challenges business owners face, which is hiring and managing employees. Jackie uses Seven Star HR's shared HR consultants and proprietary tools to deliver superior value to companies. She helps organizational leaders identify and resolve compliance related HR risks, build solid processes to optimize business operations, and construct a culture that allows business owners save their organization money and help them enjoy going to work because employee issues are reduced. Jackie created Seven Stars HR's proprietary online HR MRI assessment to determine the overall level of employee engagement and give company leaders the peace of mind that they are complying with every changing, fine causing government regulations. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring before you my trusted colleague in HR, Jacquelyn Gernaey. Of course, Jacquelyn prefers to be called Jackie, but she will tell us all about that. So today we have some fireside chats, and the reason for this is because most of you may have already heard of the Great Resignation. Now, some of my colleagues in the fields that's much older than I am have more of a history in HR over 40 years. They say, Winnie, the Great Resignation is nothing new. This is just the next wave. Every couple of years, 40 or so years, you will see this is just a normal process like the sun going down and coming on. So I'm sorry, maybe I'm too young and have passed that last wave. So this is a new wave for me. Is a historian in this area. We could actually ask her about that, but we do have some questions lined up for my audience that they asked me to ask you. So tell me, Jackie. Tell me.
Well, one, let me say the only reason that this might be considered abnormal is we did have pent-up demand. Employees were frightened about what was going on with COVID and being locked down. So nobody moved. Nobody got the job. So the normal turnover just got squeezed into this time period, right?
Wow. Wow.
So that's
Okay.
why you're absolutely right. Things move. Everyone's moving. Gone, gone, gone are my parents' time period where they worked one company from 18 years old until they retired. That's
Wow.
all gone.
Wow, wow. Yeah, that is true. So it's a whole new, it may appear that it's the same, but it's a new leaf. It may appear the same, but it's new. What we're dealing with is unprecedented as far as I can see in research, right? I want to welcome one of my faithful colleagues, also client in business, which is Pat Brown from the awesome Sovereign Staffing Solution. And I'm happy that she's here and probably be able to chime in some questions. Of course, Pat's business, they focus totally on hiring and placement of nurses, preferably the managers in the nursing field. So I'm happy
A
that she's
tough place and so needed.
yes, yes. And I'm sure, Pat, you will be able to collaborate with Jacquelyn, sooner or later, because she probably have some brownie points to share with you since you're new to the New York market. Her business has been more in the southern area, the Virginia, further back, area. So she's bold to enter into the New York market. So I'm sure Jacquelyn would welcome you and embrace you in that field. Of course, you specialize in HR for nurses. Anyway, so Jacquelyn, here is a big question that some of my clients ask me to ask you. Uh, I think, let's see here, making sure I have all the questions. Yes. First of all, let's set the foundation for our audience because the topic is about ROI on talent recruitment, right? We are recruiting our talent, but at times we have no idea that ROI should be part of that strategic conversation. So let us start by creating a definition so that we are all on the same page. What is meant by the ROI in talent recruitment?
So, what it really means, Winnie, is you are bringing people in who can help the business grow in one way or the other. So, let's say when I started my business years ago, I started with a virtual assistant. That allowed me to really focus on growing the business. So the money that I spent on that person gave me the ROI of new sales, new vendors, new relationships, marketing, that kind of thing that I was unable to do if I was answering the telephone and dealing with actually having to do what I call below my pay grade tasks.
Yes.
So that's how ROI starts. It's getting you the money back for the effort that you don't have to do and giving you the freedom to do the things you need to do.
That's
to grow
awesome.
the business.
Yeah, we realize that it's pretty much return on investment.
Correct.
That's what the acronym means, and it's the investment. And what I'm understanding you to say is that when I pay a virtual assistant $15 an hour or 12, whatever the arrangement is, and what you've just said is that when you talk about pay grade, some people don't, that's even an acronym in some industries, not used to that, but many do, is that if your effort brings in $250 an hour, but your virtual assistant is making doing a job that someone can do at $15 an hour, well, it will make sense to pay someone $15 an hour so your $250 an hour content, or what is the intellectual property, or what your value is to the marketplace at $250 an hour, all I have to do is take 15 or $12 or $20 or $25 from 250 and give it to someone else who is more capable of doing that. They're skilled in that area. And I think what you're saying, Jacquelyn, that got me very excited about this is how many of us small business owners, more so the ones on startups, especially on startups, the conversation would be, but I'm just starting. I cannot afford to hire even an assistant, even though I can book at $250 an hour. Can you tell me about that in that conversation?
So, yes, I think you have to look at startup costs, and you should look at your budget. And, if you need the money to eat, I understand. But if you really want to grow your business, it's going to go so much slower if you're doing $15 an hour jobs instead of doing the sales or the marketing that is going to bring the money in to the business and help you grow. So it's a tough decision. And that's why I suggest a virtual assistant, because you can buy a block of time rather than have an employee that you're getting really nervous because you have to support that employee. You can say, all right, while I don't have any opportunities to grow the business, or in my spare time, all right, I'll do some of the admin work, fine. But I need to more and more spend the time maybe doing a LinkedIn campaign or something else that's going to take your time up, that really has the benefit, that can get your business where it needs to be. As you go further down the line, ROI is a little different, because it's maybe bringing someone in who's providing services that allows them in their particular job to bring an ROI to the business.
Wow.
A sales rep.
Yes.
Right? If you can get them. Or the other one that I have seen is really a quality assurance. That's not quality control. That's at the end. The quality assurance, where you're building quality into the product, which will help you prevent losses and costs that way. So that's a little different ROI, Winnie, as you get a little bigger.
Yes.
In the business.
Now, what you're saying, Jacquelyn, right there is so key. And as you can see, I'm so happy that you broke it down. We go through the stages of the life cycle. Most tend to leave it at 5, but we know we have 6, 7 to complete. But along that journey of scaling, they usually say every level, it's a new devil. I don't know if you've heard that expression. For every level you conquered and think you're great, you got it, and now you're climbing to another level and you say, hello, who are you? It's a whole different situation. It is just, we just don't have enough time on this one to really take everyone through the scale of what they need to know, so that they can create or get support in creating a serious talent strategy plan. Because when it comes to hiring, I believe it should be part of a strategic conversation for startups and existing business. You need to project, get somebody in. Maybe I can bring in Jackie. I could probably bring in my CPA. And just so we know, I always share with my clients on startup, what are the 5 areas of concern you should have or around your table of conversation? I said, number 1, a trusted CPA, a fiduciary advisor. I'm not talking about a financial advisor who their income is based on the product they sell. I prefer a fiduciary advisor where that person is strictly listening to you, the strategic process, and working very closely with your CPA so that they can lead your company to your that's highest good and your potential. You have your HR specialist like Jacquelyn at the table, because that HR specialist is going to listen to your long term vision and the values of your company, understand it, and can guide you as a good person in that strategy conversation. So that's the three. Then you get your marketing expert in the room, because now that person will be part of that strategy in helping guide that complete conversation. And then, of course, what is the product and the service that will be the vehicle for all of this to happen? If there's one that I left out, then it will be the COO, the one who's going to guide the entire operations.
Which most often starts with the entrepreneur.
Absolutely. Right. So by saying that, Jackie, would you not say that, or agree or disagree, but based on what you're telling me, it has to start with a strategic plan to know how important it is to invest in that employee, and which employee? Should it be for the persons who have sales background to bring that in, because that's not you? Or is it on the person who just needs to answer the phones and file the documents and send that information out? Would you not say the strategic plan will determine which one you will hire if you're in a startup?
Yes, I would, but I think you also need, if you're a new business owner, to look at your own personal skills.
Okay.
What am I good at? Mm-hmm. Am I good at sales? Then strategically, that's where I should focus.
Yes.
Getting the business owner should be at the 10,000 foot, yes, right? Which yes. is a strategy, yes. And implementing things that are going to have that big picture vision, mm-hmm. ROI mm-hmm. for the business. Yes. If you are in finance, mm-hmm. for example, then you might want to bring in somebody that can help do the selling, etc. Yes. So the strategic plan should be done, absolutely. It doesn't have to be, people get scared when you say a strategic plan.
That's true.
If you just have goals, strategies, actions with timing, responsibilities, that's a start. Yes. But get something on a piece of paper. If yes. you don't have a plan cannot reside here. Yes. It's got to be on a piece of paper, or yes. it isn't, in my estimation, a plan. Yes. Yes. I'm sure you would agree with that, Winnie.
Absolutely. Yeah, because on bootstrapping, which is an area that I enter into for individuals going from ideation to their 1-year proof of concept, going from there into now having sufficient data to create a viable business plan, the financial aspect or part of that is where there is, well, I need to go to the bank to get the money. And the bank says, I'm sorry, you do not have 3 years. We don't know if this is a dream. So then how do I bootstrap my way to a dream? So this is why masterminding, what I share with my clients, get involved in a mastermind where you get to meet talent, network, and just have these discussions over lunch, breakfast, what have you. You'd be surprised the relationships that you build, and you can come together to allow your business to go. As a matter of fact,
accountability is the other thing, Winnie.
Absolutely. Accountability.
We all have, as business owners, what I call the God-given right to procrastinate. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so yes. accountability is a really important thing, being accountable to someone yes. beyond yourself.
Yes, absolutely. Pat stated having a VA even part-time can make a difference in scaling your business. Right.
Absolutely.
Acom Kessie TV says bootstrapping is the way to go. I assume that Acom started his business, I believe, a very successful business, and I guess he definitely can chime in about bootstrapping being the way to go. It has so many benefits. That should probably just be a topic in and of itself. The
I think you're
benefits
right,
of
and the
bootstrapping.
whole finance area of doing that bootstrapping is a great topic.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. We definitely have to do that. Another question as we are rolling forward here is, Jacqueline, you hear this all the time. People do not quit companies that they like. They read about their values. They read about all these awesome things on the company's website. They took the job with excitement, and somewhere along the line, they're coming back to family and friends. I just quit. What happened? Do they quit the company or do they quit the managers, and why? Can you share with that?
People quit managers. They don't quit companies.
Wow. Tell
They
us more.
always quit managers. Just think the managers are the people they're interacting with on a day-to-day basis. A manager can ensure someone loves their job by being fair, giving praise, mentoring, and working with them as part of one team.
Mm-hmm.
Or they can make somebody hate their job by being biased, playing favorites, talking
Wow.
down to their employees, not
Wow.
treating them as equals.
Wow.
So it's really, really important you can have this beautiful vision, but if your managers are not extolling that vision to their employees, you're doomed. And
Okay.
I don't blame the managers really.
Mm-hmm.
This training is real important, and that comes from the
Mm-hmm.
top down. And even if it's just one manager that you've brought in, um, people say, oh, this person was a really good whatever sales rep, a really
Mm-hmm.
good administrative person,
Yes.
and then they make them a manager and give them no training,
Yes.
and they have no idea how to be a manager. Gone are the days, I say, where people say, oh, well, they just threw me in the deep end of the pool and
Mm-hmm.
I had to swim. Well, that's not what we want. We want to we need to train people, and these newer generations really are much less tolerant of bad managers. They will quit before they ever have another job. It's
It's
like, nope, I'm not putting up with this. I'm
that's right.
out of here.
That's
So, baby boomers, we were taught, oh my goodness, by our wartime parents, you don't quit until
that's
you get another job.
come
Well,
on.
all out the window with the younger generations.
It's true. The millennials and younger, they vote with their feet. Zero patience. They're not married early. They don't have children. The parents allow them to stay in the attic or the basement, so their overhead is extremely low. They have a community of friends that would let them bunk on the sofa if need be, rather than they go through the emotional trauma of rude management. So we have to take all that into consideration.
Absolutely.
One thing you shared also, Jacqueline, that you're so right. Sometimes it's not the manager's fault. It's oftentimes favoritism, nepotism, favoritism. I like Jacqueline. I know this is not her skill, but you know what? I want to give her a position. Why don't you come in and manage this department? No experience in human management. So that's one big fault, especially in the mom and pops and smaller form businesses. That's where I think they make the biggest mistake,
And you
bringing
brought
friends and
something
family.
up, Winnie,
Mm-hmm.
where we are, and is there are lots of family businesses.
Yes.
So when you start talking about nepotism,
Yes.
and not, I talked about playing favorites and
Yes.
not whatever. I mean, it's hard not to promote your child
Yes.
to be the manager.
There you go.
But again, it does the child no good, and you no good if you're not getting them training on what does it take to be a good manager.
Absolutely.
What is it?
Absolutely.
And understanding that they have to represent the business and what's best for the business,
Yes.
and not for the individuals. Now, there's always a way, as my father always told me, of saying anything you want. It's all how you say it.
Yes.
So you can smile and say, hey, it might work better if blah, blah, blah. Or you can say, you dumb, stupid idiot. What were you thinking? Which kind of person would you like to work for?
There you go. You see, and that's where, again, the ROI in talent investment needs to be considered. Should I send my child to school or to management training? Should I send my managers twice a year, invest in their advancement of knowledge in human capital development? Managers who need to understand that their number one role is to lead an employee into something that inspires them so that they have the energy to see the value of this work, versus one who agrees for the manager to be a drill sergeant and manage the employee versus managing the performance of the work. And that, we all know a manager should not manage employees. They're managing a project, inspiring the employee.
Mentoring.
Exactly.
All those
Mentoring,
kind of things.
inspiring them, all of that. Yes.
Well, Winnie, somebody gave me a quote once when they were talking about this, because I keep hearing, oh, people turn over and I don't want to train them because they're going to leave. So I always say, so if you train them, what's worse, if you train them and they leave, or you don't train them and they stay?
Oh my God. Reversion of money. It means that your money will be going down and not up. That's foolish. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you don't want people that are C-level employees staying. You want to keep increasing their abilities.
Yes.
And in this day and age, all employees really should have training. One, it helps you retain them.
Absolutely.
But two, really, skills are not what we should be training. We should be looking for people with certain behavioral styles, because they can change and do something else. We pivot. Look at COVID. A lot of people had to pivot.
Yes.
And if you have people that can pivot,
yes,
and do new things, then that's the kind of person you want to have.
That's a good ROI on my investment.
Absolutely.
As we come up to a close here, I want to read one more comment that I think Acom had mentioned earlier when we were talking about the bootstrapping, the way to go. He says, I mean, it's a little bit off here, but he did mention something about the banks. He found that banks are willing to lend you money when they're absolutely sure that their return is secure. That's pretty much what he has here. They bet on sure money. He said he recently went to a bank and they wanted 25,000 secured to lend him 25,000.
Yeah, isn't that fun? If I had that 25,000, why would I be asking you for it? And that is very true. So I always, if you are going to, just not on this topic,
right,
if you are going to borrow,
yes,
borrow, get a line of credit.
That's it.
When you don't need it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's
When
a
you
whole
need
different.
it, you won't be able to get it.
We will definitely bring in the banker. We had a Jason Cole 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago who spoke about he is in the underwriting. So he mentioned, we did that. So Jacqueline, as we wind up, in your closing remarks, what advice can you share with a business owner right now who is desiring to sustainably scale their business? In the wrapping up of this, as we conclude on this
So,
topic.
so I would say, Winnie, one, make sure you're working at that high level at least 70% of the time, or your pay grade, or whatever you want to call it. But
Yes.
make sure you're doing strategic things that are going to help your business grow. Learn to delegate. Now,
Yes.
there are multiple levels. People get scared of delegation, but there are multiple levels of delegate, from go research it and come back and then I'll make the decision,
Yes.
to go figure it out and don't even tell me what you're doing.
Yes.
Obviously, you're not going to delegate all levels for all things, right?
Yes.
The only time you shouldn't be delegating is if it's a one-off thing you have to do. Why train someone for a one-off thing?
Yes.
Then
Yes.
it's not worth your time.
Yeah.
But and then I guess the last is document your processes, whatever they are. I keep a little sign next to my desk. The prize is in the process.
Wow.
And keep that in mind.
Yes.
Really, you need to have a process. And when you make a mistake, use it as a learning opportunity. That's the first thing. If somebody makes a mistake, I say, okay, let's get a document, let's get a process documented so we don't make this mistake again.
Powerful, powerful, powerful. So, to my awesome audience, again, we have just heard from the guru in my personal regard, the guru of gurus in HR consulting and management, Jacquelyn Gernaey, and she is of Seven Star HR. Jacqueline, would you share with our audience how they can get in contact with you, your company, be it in looking for those qualified employees or just having a consultant who can consult with them in HR management and recruiting?
So probably the easiest way, since you can see behind me the
Yes.
spelling of Seven Star HR,
Yes.
add a .com after
Mm-hmm.
that,
Mm-hmm.
and you will find Seven Star HR. We also have a separate recruiting website called effectivehiring.com. And you
Okay.
can take a look there. There are all sorts of tips and tricks,
Mm-hmm.
as well as things you can there. You can look me up. Gernaey is not in. There's not a lot of us on LinkedIn, so look me up on LinkedIn. All of
Yeah.
my contact information, from phone to email, is there.
Okay. I'm actually putting it in the chat here for those who uh it's on LinkedIn is Jacqueline. And this is that it's this Gearnaey.
Gernaey.
Yes,
Too
right.
many vowels, I
That's
always
it.
say.
But it's wonderful. I just like that French pronunciation and a little bit more of what I'm Well, Jacqueline, I want to thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with our audience. It's a lot for us to take in, and we should know about that. And I
Anytime.
Yes, yes, this is so dear to my heart. And we are going to do this again with an even greater panel. And some of our faithful audience will probably like to join us in the future on the panel. So I want to thank Pat. Pat is also thanking you, Jacqueline, for sharing. And we had also Econ, right? Let's see. ACOM. Yes, ACOM was sharing as well. And the others who are viewing and they're not commenting, we can't see you, but you know who you are. Thank you so much. And for our future audience in the future coming on, listening, check out 7-Star HR and also Stewardship Masters International. And for now, we are saying bye-bye. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.